This one out of Drew Smith. Drew the Disney Dude. We like that fella. He's a very good theme park reporter. In fact, he got his start or his rise to fame covering Tiana's Bayou Adventure. And now he's covering Monstropolis. And he says the facades of Monstropolis are on the way to Hollywood studios from the GLOB Theater. I see the joke there. I get it. To recreating Mike and Sully's Walk to Work. This is the same art I saw at the project site tour in May.
Peter,
yep. Here we go. Let's watch what he says.
All right, here's the streetscape view of Monstropolis coming.
First of all, this is like Mary Poppins concept art kind of stuff here. I actually love this style. They could have done it in different ways, but this brings up a European style of architecture here. This right here actually kind of reminds me of the Musée d'Orsay in France. So they're trying to evoke some very specific skylines here. Not that that's going to matter for Monstropolis, but teach their own.
Hollywood Studios. This is the same artwork I saw back in May on our construction site tour.
Okay. Do you have any observations on this? I see a couple of details here that are interesting, Vash.
Yeah, a couple of details, like the what is it, the Monsters Pizzeria sign right there. I think that's kind of fun. I know that we heard
because I see buffalo wings, which I'm wondering, is there a buffalo wings restaurant here? Where is the pizzeria? Is it's I would assume that's where Pizza Rizzo.
Yeah. The buffalo wings there. I know. It was kind of he was kind of.
Oh wait, I was mistaken. It's Barfalo wings.
Barfalo wings, right there, which is obviously consistent with the monsters or gross theme. We heard from DSNY, who also got a preview, a tour through this area, that I guess the Imagineers were inspired by Zootopia and how it came to fruition in Shanghai, right? With a lot of these windows with, kind of creatures or animals popping out and so forth. Apparently, these facades in Monstropolis might actually feature a lot of the same detail, which should be very, very interesting. Some of it kind of reminds me of Main Street, just a little bit, at least at Disneyland right there. But you can see the heavily transformed Muppetvision 3D theater exterior.
Yeah, so they've taken off the large hot air balloon, which was the visual icon of that land, otherwise known by Walt Disney's favorite name for that, the weenie, because he liked hot dogs. That's no longer there, which I would argue that part of that is the reason why Muppetvision 3D stopped pulling in people, is because they put it in a corner on the way to Galaxy's Edge and stopped letting people know where it was visually, because it's like, oh, what's over there? I guess there's a fountain, maybe. Oh, is that Galaxy's Edge? I hear that's big. Well, let's go in there and see how the Tunisian immigrants are doing. Looking at this, I see a couple of things. First of all, there's the redoing of this tower. It's not a heavy facelift. It doesn't appear to be a heavy facelift. It actually appears to be a reduction on what they've done in the past. Does give me a little bit of hope that this is a more complete fountain that they've got here. Maybe they're just changing the top of the Miss Piggy fountain instead of completely removing it. Bob Iger's Disney tended to, towards the end, get rid of fountains, and flowing water was really not a focus of what they were doing. Fountains became planters, etc. But that looks like a fountain to me. But
yeah,
here's... Go ahead.
I think they've said that they want a water feature in that area, and it kind of looked like it was one of those rotating balls, right, that you see in Pixar Pier or what is it, the 1998 version of Tomorrowland, right, where it's like held up by like a thin layer of water, and kids can kind of play with it and so forth. So I think that's kind of what they showed before. It might be, another fountain in this space. Maybe those plans have changed. Very interesting things.
Yeah. Now, the reason for this video here is this one. When Monstropolis opens next year, the GLOB Theater will present Welcome to Monstropolis. The high-tech show will feature an animatronic one-man or one-monster band with Mike and Sully serving as hosts. So we have another Monsters Inc. show. I don't know what this means for the laugh floor over at Tomorrowland at Magic Kingdom. And okay, great. I do hear that the music is going to be done by Randy Newman. That's, I believe, an official announcement. So going from Jim Henson's company doing what they did best and Jim Henson's final to Randy Newman. I do like Randy Newman. I think he's one of the better songwriters out there, and he knows how to exist in a space like this. He's really fantastic. I still don't know that this could ever be better than Muppetvision 3D.
Yeah, that's the open question, right? I mean, Jim Henson's last work compared to Randy Newman's first, which is very, very interesting. They were quick to point out, Jonas, I thought this was very pertinent here, that this was the first song to ever be featured at a Disney park, created by Randy Newman himself for that specific purpose right there, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because Jonas by Adventure, right, comes to mind as, hey,
right.
You know what? That's Princess and the Frog. Obviously, did the music for all of that, and the fact that they didn't get an Academy Award winner or Grammy, winning artist for that is a very curious thing.
No, I'm gonna push back on that. That jazz musician, sure. I was looking into his work. He might actually have a Grammy Award, but the work that he did doing Special Spice is just, it's very simple. It's not, it's nothing compared to his work outside of Disney. It's very repetitive. It's the kind of like verbal whatever about Special Spice, which, by the way, the ride is not about Special Spice, because it ended up that it was about a party, I guess, that is not a New Orleans, that is not a Mardi Gras party, but is definitely a Mardi Gras party. The whole idea of the plot of that ride, a little strange, Obviously, Epic Universe has Saving the World. Disney has Let's Plan a Party. And also Let's Make Gumbo, and we're looking for the Special Spice, but they never mention the Special Spice, but they have to keep that in there because they've commissioned this jazz musician to make some song about the Special Spice. And the Special Spice was the friends we've made on the way, and also you, depending on how you view it. So a little weird. I will say Randy Newman writing that song would probably make it into something unbelievably good. I mean, listen to his work on the Toy Story soundtrack or on the Princess and the Frog soundtrack, and the guy puts meaning into everything he does.
Absolutely, and that's why I bring it up, because I thought that was very, very interesting. That they are reminding people that Randy Newman famously wasn't a part of that work, because it is a next chapter story of Princess and the Frog. Princess and the Frog was originally scored by Randy Newman, a lot of those lyrics and so forth done by him. So it was kind of just odd that they would actually make that a focus. Oh, this is the first Randy Newman song made for a theme park attraction. I thought that was really something.
Pointing out their own mistakes, right?
Exactly. That's kind of what it felt like, at least to me.
Right. So, they should have had I Got Friends on the Other Side as the theme as you go up the lift hill there, and instead it's I don't know what plays there. They don't even do Dig a Little Deeper on the way up that lift hill, do they? Which they're using the visuals from Dig a Little Deeper as you go up the lift hill on Splash Mountain. Those that bayou magic, that fog that was supposed to have the projections of the flamingos as you go. I'm sorry, we just keep going back to the same monstrosity that Disney has put into this ride. You're supposed to be able to see the flamingos projected against the fog, and that effect has never worked. So you just have this haze of purple and yellow, which I guess the yellow is the legs as you go up this lift hill, which should be, "Are you ready?" It's
right. As Bruce Vaughan said, it's sometimes the obvious decision is the right one, right? He said that during the Experiences Showcase when talking about Villains Land. Why couldn't you get that right? And now we're on the precipice of maybe making the same mistakes all over again.
Yeah. Instead of making this into, well, the Muppets are currently visiting Monstropolis, they say, you know what, we need to go ahead and get rid of that thing over there and replace it with something so we can be fully immersive. And now here we are. We got Randy Newman, who is fantastic. I will say, If I Didn't Have You is not generally the go-to for Disney related Randy Newman tracks, so I guess they're not using that one. And now, great. I don't see this as something that's worthy of the Muppetvision 3D theater, but to each their own. Vash, is there anything that they could do in this show that you think would make fans love it? The ones that love Muppetvision, make them love this show just as much.
Yeah, that's the problem, and this is kind of a little bit of like the Splash Mountain thing all over again, right? You are attempting to reimagine a ride with such a huge legacy, with such big shoes to fill. Can you actually do it? I'm not exactly convinced. Scott Gustin does give us a little bit of hope, though. He says, during a visit to an off-site WDI facility earlier this year, I saw both the musician and camera operator up close, and they look great. I think there's still a lot Disney hasn't revealed about the show itself, particularly the technology being used. Apparently, he's saying that those were audio-animatronic figures on display right there, which is encouraging. It's not going to just all be screens. But, like you said, Jonas, will that be enough to placate fans? You know, instead of seeing audio-animatronic, characters like, I don't know, the penguins down there and so forth, and all of these beloved Jim Henson characters, we're going to be seeing entirely made up monsters characters in order to fit this show that I don't think will have nearly the same emotional resonance as Jim Henson's last work.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.